Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with a rank 1 Terran in the world, the Frenchman from Team Liquid in the red. It's Clem, facing off against his greatest rival in the rank 1 Protoss out there. And not the one we deserve, but the one we need right now. In the blue, the smiling assassin, it's Hero. In a best of 5 Terran versus Protoss Grand Finals to a new iteration of the Monday Night Weekly Cup. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. Tell me kind of the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we doing? 1,811 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As he's playing Crouching Zealot Hidden Reaper, Hero is in the fog of war. He can't see, so in that exact area, the Zealot... A Zealot not known for its range. The Reaper is still in there, but here comes an Adept. And suddenly the Reaper getting outflanked by a melee unit as Hero just crouches down. Aim for the bushes, and apparently it works out. Hero with the cheekiest start, but also a very threatening one. He could potentially delay this bunker. The Zealot's walking up, he's already zoning, he cuts down one of the Marines. The other one, he gets into the main. The Reaper will be microed away. He gets 2 SCVs. And Clem is able to stop the bleeding somewhat, but only because several of those units were cut down where they stood. Hero, with one of the most convoluted yet surprisingly effective starts. Building a Zealot against a Reaper is usually admitting that that Zealot will die. But rarely is it so dramatic outside of cinematics. Here, the Reaper clearly dancing. He barely outmaneuvered the first Adept. He let it into the base. Now here's a Hellion to join into the fray. It looks like finally there's enough in order to... Oh, and he cuts down one more Marine before it's all said and done. And Hero off to a rambunctious... There's still an Adept. He canceled... Oh, he doubled back. He pump faked him with the Shade. And now getting some extra damage done. It will finally... At 4 minutes, Hero will lose his first 2 units. I guess there were 2 Adepts. All right, they're just the revolving door. And sure, third base. He's already got Blink on the way, of course. And it's not too close to being done, which is on the later... There's a Twilight Council as part of the wall. Not that Hero has ever been such an expert at constructing such things. But one thing he's always been able to construct is a very awkward and somewhat upsetting situation for Clem at almost any stage of the game or series. Clem's near-perfect micro, his impeccable macro, his strategic decision-making is all so incredibly high level that when Hero goes low, Clem can't even realize what he's doing before sometimes it's too late. A Widow Mine drop headed over towards the natural, and mostly unsuspected, though of course he knew there would be something headed that way. So the Stalkers weren't quite in position to deal with it. He tries with the Hellions, but the Adept actually misses its opportunity potentially to kill the Hellion. He's gonna try to box out, but the Adept Shade is just fast enough. He catches it on the way out. And, well, Hero has 46 probes. He's now got 3 Nexi completed. He's gonna drop the Widow Mines into the fateful bushes down the center of the map. And I haven't seen them have such a impact. Well, the only 2 units in the game dancing back and forth to no decisive conclusion until Hero carried it all the way across the map. But Blink is done. Clem, 3 racks completed. He's got +1 infantry weapons on the way. The Reaper hunted down, stalked by the soon-to-be and now Blink Stalkers. A single probe, maybe even suspecting exactly this with the Widow Mine. And, a brave wow, Hero knows Clem so well. Sending the probe, not even risking the Adept. He's gonna hunt the Widow Mine with the Adept. An auto turret comes out, but the Raven is already preemptively shut down. The Widow Mine manages to scamper away from the Adept. And it's not like Clem is taking critical damage or anything. Maybe emotionally, but that's a typical Terran thing, known for it. Meanwhile, the Adept Shade will spot the help in a bio that Clem has built up here. And let him know exactly what he's dealing with, which is not a surprise, but still something he has to contend with. As that much bio throwing its weight around is a whole lot of danger. And there's not a lot of easy ways to deal with it directly. He's not going for Colossi. It's just going to be a bunch of charge lots. He didn't reach for further in the tech tree, instead expanding sideways like the shrubberies he's used so well. And that means he has to have enough units to contest the bio, ideally before it gets across the map. A single adept dragging some of this back. The Stalkers chasing in turn. They know about the Marines, might be able to chase him down. He spots them, and it's just Marines. He's going to shave away a half dozen before any of this is really going to be decided. A Widowmine drop comes in again. Hero, he doesn't see it. Okay, he's moving. He's moving. Well, sacrifices some of the probes. The Widowmine blinks forward. Oh my, Hero will not retreat. Clem clearly a bit shell-shocked by the fact Hero went forward against that, as he dodged the Widowmine hits and got right on top of the bio. And I'm not sure if Clem would have had enough if he stood his ground, but decided to retreat from it. Auto turret, but shield battery gonna patch up the probes, and Hero has carried it across the map. He's got a proxy gate in position, which will be somewhat fortuitously scouted by the medevac coming back, but Hero's already chopping his way through some of this. He sacrifices a sentry to Zealot, knocks down one of the medevacs. The bunker's still here. He pops into it, Clem almost ignoring it for a moment. But the bunker may actually be the saving grace. The medevac goes down, and Hero is knocking on the door. Though gets a little distracted by some of the Widowmines, and maybe biting off more than he could chew, which chewing anything at all is kind of impressive for a Protoss without a mount. And here comes another round. A surprisingly fast warp-in. Does he even have a robo? No. He might not know this. Well, he knows this is from the gate. He saw the gateway. But Hero is just hitting before the units can even be healed up from their stims. The violence of aggression here. Just constantly putting the pressure on. And right now, Clem kind of cracking under it. The Raven comes back around, wandering forward, maybe a bit of a selectal army hockey. And behind this, Hero has 74 probes. Another wave! He just keeps going! Blocks it again! The boys will have to be pulled! And trying to micro some of these units out of the way. The Widowmines have recharged. He didn't have the blink. A big hit across the bow. The Raven gets told never more by those Stalkers. But unfortunately, that's all the Stalkers are going to be able to get for now. But that has never stopped Hero before. He'll dig deeper and more greedily. And will it cost him? Or will it win him the game? It remains to be decided. As the Zealots chop through some of the Widowmines, he drags out one of the hits almost on top of the bio. The medevacs are nearly out of energy. It's 1-1 upgrades for the Protoss against just +1 attack for Clem. The armor's finishing. 2-2's on the way. Hero's got another base behind this. He has not been slouching back at home. Those medevacs almost entirely out of energy. He keeps warping it off the proxy gate. He will not stop, and some might argue he could not, even if he tried. But the Stalker's still blinking back, and if he ever stopped, Clem would be able to heal up, and he'd have a much more difficult army to contend with. It's just this constant aggression, the thin line between bravery and ignorance that Hero may very well strangle himself with. But another wave. The Widowmines come forward. He could easily blink out of it. Doesn't retarget. Blinks over the top. The charge lots are coming back in again. The boys are pulled off the line for the umpteenth time. Trying to target down the medevacs, but actually that did a great job of mitigating all this. The Stalker count is cutting down to 2. The supply not looking so great either. A few more Zealots stutter stepping down, and the Marauders, about half the HP between them. Draws out another couple hits, kills another couple mines. But the Marines and the Marauders and the constant trickle of Widowmine seems like they might be enough to staunch this for now. But he blinks back again. Is there another warp-in? No. Clem holds. Round 1 has ended. Or has it? I didn't hear no... He stims his... Clem just stimmed everything. A hair trigger. And, but wait! Another wave! Here comes Hero again! 2-2 is about to finish right in the midst of everything. He has 9 gateways, adding on 3 more. He's getting not 1, but 3 robotics facilities. The sentries popped with ease. The Guardian Shield, wasn't enough to save himself. Breathe. For just a moment. But Hero never more than a couple steps away. Blink! And somebody's gonna miss something. Here comes a Warp Prism as well, but the Viking can be targeted down. Maybe expecting some Colossi, but no! It's more charge lots! And another wave is sent in, and it seems like this shouldn't be enough, but he has a 2-upgrade advantage. The Stalkers are coming forward, targets down another Viking. The Charge Lot's eating a whole lot of hits from the bio. Warps in another wave, Ghetto Blinks back into the Prism. With the Vikings taken down, he tries to stutter step forward, but Hero pulls back with the Warp Prism. And he will escape for now, and he's expanding to a very ambitious position over to the right side, and that might be enough to sandbag the attack. As Clem's like, is that a Nexus? Not in my backyard. But I'm not sure he owns much of the property on this entire map. Hero, no cancel, because if he's going to commit to something, he's not going to pull out. And that's why Hero has such a large genetic line. And now Robotics Bay is on the way. An extended Thermal Lance obviously would help as well. And 3 Immortals simultaneously, because why not? Who is going to stop him? The Frenchman? It remains to be seen. But despite all of this, Hero has lost 4,000 more resources, though he's mined 5,000 more minerals. Clem has lost a singular bunker when it comes to the buildings, but really it's all been brawling it out on the field, the back and forth, the up and down, the all around, and so far, Clem trying to see how bad it is, and every base this Marine goes by that doesn't have a Nexus at it, he's feeling significantly better. As that Nexus was not just, it was a bit of hubris, but I think it was also Hero not wanting to move his screen very much. And as we get older, Hero, one of the few players older than me, we like to work smarter and not harder. Though, that means Hero's barely working at all, the way some of these games go. But Marine will spot another attempt as Hero fills in many of the bases. A fusion core is on the way for Clem quite early on, probably going to lean on the Liberators as he can, but that's so many charge lots. He's got 43. Oh my, the Guardian Shield. Scouting Factory as he pulls it into the air. Factory units, Widow Mines explicitly no longer really a factor here. 2 Colossi at a time. Extended Thermal Lance is halfway done. I'm well ahead of it. So the Nexus at the 12 o'clock, and we're going to call this the 420 maybe location. Bottom right corner. Triple Colossus, dozens of charge lots. Clem is putting together the Terran army, though he's a little heavy on the bio, which makes a lot of sense considering he hasn't been dealing with anything but charge lots and stalkers, and now maybe a few immortals. The bio army is the best choice. Liberators are good, but the sheer density of this bio army. There's no splash damage. It's just a bunch of dudes with laser swords. And at some point, the bio army is more than enough to deal with that. Or it should be. 7 Nexi and counting. Hero may very well try to re-expand. There's still, I think he rebuilt this pylon. Triple Colossus, triple upgrades. Warp Prism speed is now on the way as well. Hero engages across the front line, and 2 Colossi showing up uninvited. But nobody invites the Protoss to anything nowadays, not since the accident. The Triple Colossus trying their best. The Ghosts, light units, taking the extra damage alongside the Marines, but they have enough. Hero built a Nexus to try to speed warp it and still misplaced the pylon, which is another classic tactic from the Forrest Gumpian school of Protoss that Hero is the spirit guide of. Meanwhile, the Vikings are in position, might knock down one of the Colossi immediately. The Stalkers try to target. Charge lots covering for now. 3-3 finishing, but the fight is already well engaged beforehand. Unfortunately, the Terran army has more than enough damage. It overruns the field, wipes the Colossi. The Marauders stimming forward. Another Colossus down, and all 3 are toppled simultaneously pretty much. Meanwhile, though, another wave. He's got 14 gates, and he's more than willing to use them. Hero down 20 supply, so therefore, of course, he's on the attack. We've got 8 Nexi. He energy recharges a sentry. Guardian Shield could pay dividends. And right now, the efficiency, he definitely could be looking for better investments. 7 probes at a time. 8. Do you need 89 probes, Hero? But does he want them? Why ask whether or not you should when you ask whether or not you can? Why ask any questions at all? That seems like it would take valuable time that he could be busy attacking a command center with Colossi. The Vikings, a couple volleys, knocked down one, but there's still so much underneath. The medevac's desperately trying to heal. He has Caduceus Reactor for the better medevac energy regen, and I certainly think it's going to help here. As Hero just keeps trading out dozens upon dozens of units and not making a whole lot of progress. He's down 30 supply. We're doing disruptors now. We've tried Colossi, we've tried Charge Lots. All we're missing is the second D of the double Ds of destruction. The disruptors and the Dark Templar. I thought he might just build it now for some reason, but he's clearly a little busy. Sending another few dozen Charge Lots to their death, like this is the first 2 missions of Legacy of the Void. If only a Dark Templar had warned you. Speaking of. But how cool would it have been if he started it then? 13 more Zealots warped in. Just got warp prisms all over the place. Clem, through no fault of his own, I mean, not really, has been forced into a much more defensive position. He has had absolutely no room to move out as Hero, asphyxiating him with a endless stream, drowning in Charge Lots. As another couple dozen head towards the natural, he closes the doors on him, brings in some more. No shields upgrades yet, but the triple Ruptor. How many Liberators? Just 2. Not exactly much to contend with. He'll definitely... Yeah, there goes 1. There goes 2. Fires off 2 Ruptor shots. Hits himself in the foot. Of course. The Disruptors doing deadly damage to their greatest counter, Protoss. They actually do bonus against shields. Fun fact, Disruptors one-shot all Protoss gateway units, but they do not one-shot Ghosts or Marauders. So Hero right now has successfully brought... He literally shot himself in the face. All right. He Dick Cheney'd it there. And now maybe he'll get the Zealots to apologize for it. Rest in pieces. And Medevacs on the way. As Clem has 8 of them, but that's apparently not enough. As the Charge Lots come in for another round. The force fields weren't good enough, but the Disruptors might do the same job. Fires another shot through, gets a decent chunk, and anything to give the Charge Lots more surface area. Again, Hero definitely killing all... Well, it's a mixed bag. It's a wildly mixed bag, but another few Disruptors will be picked off. The Bio and Autumn colors. A legion of Charge Lots is warped in and charges forth yet again. The Disruptor, in one of the rarest scenarios, has actually managed to recharge and fire again. Gets 5 SCVs with it. The Zealots are pulled behind the mineral line, but the onslaught from Hero continues. The Zealots continue charging in, the Stalkers picking off more valuable units, and Clem, for once, seems to be unable to replace them in time. Another wave, and Hero is mining the rich Vespene gas over here. Disruptor shot gets a hit, and Clem is losing momentum. Hero showing that quantity has a quality all its own. And right now, it seems like Clem has no ability to stop him. He can hold him at bay. He can keep him away. But he don't stop coming, and he don't stop coming. And another wave of Charge Lots is sent in. The sensor tower will give him a few seconds of extra warning. That is not nearly enough. Oh, that is the most dead ghost. Eviscerated by a dozen Charge Lots. Sure. Well, and he knows he's going to hit him over to the right. We go to the Clem action cam here. He's clearly, well, it's pretty clear. He has the sensor towers, and it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out where the most vulnerable angles are. The resources, mining out. The planetary has backstopped all this, and without it, has to deal with the Charge Lots again. At some point, the depots were taken out. Hero has lost 10,000 more resources. He's mined 15,000 more minerals, but 4,000 less gas. How many Charge Lots? 221, and it's not over yet. He's got 9 Nexi, 14 gates. The army gets a few good swipes. The Vikings trying to find an angle. But Clem acutely aware of it, micros him back. He's stuck in a corner. Hero now in between the planetary and both armies, which means this is very likely to get crushed. But the question is at what cost? The Marauders, the Liberators, he dances back and forth, but he's caught in the middle. Meanwhile, though, another 20 Charge Lots or so are warped in towards the natural. The Medevacs are on their own, but he targets down the Stalkers. So even if the Charge Lots take out everything underneath, the main base The inevitable tide. He keeps putting up walls, and Hero keeps tearing them down. The Zealots are inside the main. He's taking out the add-ons, uninstalling them as rapidly as they can be rebuilt. Mass Disruptor, Mass Colossi. He's got 92 probes. He's got a massive income lead. Only a slight Mule Valley has been able to cut into it. Clem he's killed 7 probes throughout this. He's killed 264 Zealots in 20 minutes. But I think there's a few more where that came from. Hero hasn't been at 200 supply despite this income lead for most of the game. The Viking micro is on point. The disruptors are also here. And Hero's now mining from the bottom right, the top left. He's 3/4 of the way to a 4 corners bingo strategy. But I don't think that's going to be necessary, as if the tide doesn't turn soon, Clem is going to be swept away in it. Another wave. The Venn diagram of freedom holding the line. The Marauders at the natural. But he just keeps warping in. He's got pylons. He's got gates. What else do you need? Those are the top 2. Like a warp prism. Top 3. He can't go out because the moment he goes out, Hero comes in again. He can't build up enough Liberators to just annex any of these bases and keep Hero away. He can't build up enough bio to comfortably deal with the charge lots or split off some. The Liberators looking the wrong way in the main base. Hero takes note. A few Blink Stalkers, some more... and over to the right side, he hits the Planetary again. The Disruptors fire everything! It doesn't go well, but it was dramatic. And then... typical Disruptors. Another Volley. That one somehow does more damage than like the 7 Disruptors before it. But all it takes is 1. And so far, Hero gets into the main. That missile turret. Very important to kill. Alright? That's the most important. He blinks. Yeah, of course he does. Blinks down to the 3rd base. The Marines pop out of the bunker. Liberators chasing down. Clem gonna try to... That is not the most fun way to scout this base. And Clem's going to shove his way down. But the Stalkers slip over to the side. Knock out 1, 2, 3 of the Liberators. Only 1 remains. Fadeaway shot. Clears the field. The SCVs. A hostile takeover here. Can I park here? Do you have a permit? Meanwhile, the moment Clem commits to killing this Nexus, Hero comes in with another army. The Disruptors being popped 1 by 1, but there's still 1 on the field. Some of the Vikings on the ground. Disruptor shot. Completely empty air. The SCVs have followed the probes home. Clem may actually manage to mine from this base. Again, the Liberators are sieged up, and again, the Liberators are knocked down as Clem just cannot stabilize. Hero, unwilling and probably unable to stop. 15 gates, triple robo, 9 bases. He's now mining from the other rich Vespine base. He's mined out of 4, 5 bases. So wait, there's still 2 gas gunners. Here come the Stalkers again. Blinks away. Vikings on the ground, which just looks kind of sad, and they're mostly in need of repair. Recalls where? Over to the right side. One of the first, if not the only, recalls so far this game, and it's just used to reposition for more aggression. Hero still with 89 probes. Clem with way more army supply than Hero can even build. The planetary fortress is targeted. Well, the attempt at it, he lifts it off, but it's not going to be enough. The Stalkers are just brawling it out on the field. The Bio Army easily able to beat any of these armies, but not all of them. Who's the Zerg now? The Zerg lots absolutely everywhere. 320 Zealots in 24 minutes. It may be a record for any length of game, but nobody gets Zealots killed like Hero does. It takes such a level, the #1 Protoss in the world, to lose this many Protoss units. Many of them to his own Disruptors, but that's a sacrifice he's willing to make. And Clem, probably the closest he'll get to being able to put together any sort... Oh, but 3 Colossi come stepping up. And this fight just got a lot hotter here. And not in a fun way. The Disruptor has another shot banked up. Hero realizes before he loses it to the bio. There's only a few Vikings left over. But the ability to switch from Disruptors to Vikings and there and back again has been constantly the issue. And it seems like Hero, by the time Clem is able to take a step forward, he has to take 17 steps back. And despite the stims, eventually, you run out of options. Hero continues. The Colossi, the Disruptors, death by 1,000 explosions. Quite literally 1,000 cuts when it comes to the Zealots. 333 Zealots, 100 Stalkers, 66,000 resources. But still, Hero maintains the lead, the map, and it's looking more and more likely the game. The most important base. The rest are mined out. Clem has no gas income. He's dropping mules on a base that's literally under fire. A factory is watching probes long distance mine. I guess there's a scenario where if Clem holds on to this base long enough, Hero will run out of money. But 3 Colossi is a lot to contend with. Probably about 3 too many. And the Disruptors fire behind the mineral line. Decent split. Marauders survived most of it, but there's more where that came from. Fires off another double barrel. Connects. The boys are pulled for the last time. The Vikings will knock down the Colossi. 14 more Zealots are warped in mid-fight. He never got the shield upgrades, and he never needed them. Another Colossus tumbles. The Vikings hit the ground. The charge lots charge forth, and Hero will not stop. And for the last time, Clem is driven back. And for the first time, I think Clem will be driven out. Disruptor! And he's under 100 supply. And there's nothing left but the G's. Hero! From the very first Zealot to the 362nd one. Hero kept his foot on the gas despite the severe lack thereof. 12 Colossi, 16 Disruptors. There might not be Zergs here today, but Hero doing by far his best impression. The onslaught, the endless waves upon waves. Hero, through all the fire and fury, just wearing Clem down. And if Clem can't withstand it, who can? Well, time for some more Winter Madness. Game 2. And honestly, Clem's micro was pretty much... It ranged between very good to perfect. Right up until the very... Like, the split of having Vikings microing back and mitigating their losses. The medevacs usually in position. It's just Hero. You can't react to Hero because he's already acted multiple times. The blinks forward past the Widow Mines. The unwillingness to contemplate retreat. I'm surprised Hero's not using his Zest portrait like he sometimes does, but very much reminiscent of Zest, where if you're spending any time regarding the safety of your own units, that's time you could have used to potentially win the game. And even Clem clearly getting kind of jump scared by Protoss units suddenly in places that they have no right to be. Even if it's so wrong, though, it eventually creates his own rights. Or lefts. I'm not sure where I was going with that. That probe, looking for any sort of sneaky, well, really anything. It could be. With Clem and Hero, literally anything is on the table. And then we're going to flip it and pick up the pieces and start throwing them at each other. Or maybe just eating them and saying, look, I won, you have no pieces left. And that's, one way to do it. But it's not about who wins, it's about who's left. And Clem ran out of options. I don't even think, maybe he lost 1 or 2 command centers, but the entire game just fighting units on units. Sure, going for the economy, but... Oh, wow. Hero was clearly, well, the biggest danger is the Terran stabilizes with like 120 army supply and 10 liberators. Once they get to 200 supply, they can start splitting off liberators and medevacs, and it's very hard to deal with small battle groups of Terran units. I mean, it's also hard to deal with 30 charge slots, but you need to keep the momentum up for them to be useful. I would actually be shocked if there was a full minute that went without losing a unit from when the first one was lost there. Which, it's just something different when these two play this matchup. Usually Terran versus Protoss is kind of like a chess boxing match, or what I assume a chess boxing match is. I don't think they play chess while they're actively boxing. These two do, but usually Terran versus Protoss is, I have my big attack. Doesn't matter, Blink Stalkers, tank push, or maybe Colossus timing, Liberators. I have my big attack. We go at it for a minute or two, and then we go back to our corners, and we strategize the next step. That is the typical standard, and when Clem is playing Protoss against Terran, a very common style. But, well, you could be common, or you could be hero. Adepts. 3 adepts. Which is, and Clem already knows this is a Twilight. He's just got 3 adepts because that's, yeah. Sure, why not? Okay, throwing shade. That's all I gotta say about that. I have no, like, this is something you do sometimes when you go Stargate, but usually it's not a very, well, that's a siege tank. Here we go. All right, we had our filler commentary. Now Clem is clearly angling to take out that pylon, which is powering Blink, and this actually could be devastating here. Delaying Blink at all is quite painful, but Hero goes forward. He blinks in with the Adepts. He just ignores the Marines. He's gonna try to save the tank, but no! Hero, with no hesitation. If he hadn't sent every single unit to kill that tank, if he had, like, the sentry was killing the tank, if he had been a quarter second later, then the tank lives. Clem, with a quick reaction time, picked it up. But no! He committed everything. What did it cost? Almost everything. And is it over? Absolutely not. So, let's maybe hold off the compliments, as right now he is lacking in implements to deal with this sort of attack, especially considering Blink was delayed. He did get the pylon. And its precarious position as part of a Reaper, we'll generously call wall. So, the 4 not-so-Blink Stalkers just kind of stumbling across the map. Oh, might be able to cut off, well, might get a Viking, because why are the Stalkers here? Why would you be here? To which Hero says, why not? Templar Archives charge on the way. The tanks will siege. He's not suicidal. Alright, he's just crazy. 2 tanks sieged is far too much for 6 or 7 Stalkers to deal with. So just ignore them. That probe spotting for it. Hero's going to full-on base trade, relying on the fact that he has a recall. If he's even thinking about that. He knows he can't fight the army when it's entrenched. So maybe go somewhere it's not. But a siege tank on the high ground, anticipating this. The stagger Blink forward against the tank. Clem's coming back, which actually is going to cost him so much. He might have been able to go forward, probably thinking, okay, maybe. No, he's not going to stop. He's in the main, and another tank. We'll get one last Stalker. But Hero, finding I mean, it wasn't exactly a complicated process. Can't fight here, I could probably fight there. And, well, guess what? This went from an awkward and potentially disastrous situation for Hero. Oh, he spots the army down there. There's nowhere to go. He gets another tank! Clem, so focused on making sure he kills the Stalkers, loses a tank of his own in action. Oh, he gets a medevac! In the right place. In the wrong place at the right time. That's Hero in... Kurzgesagt. I don't... He had no right to any of it. How many tanks? He lost 10 Stalkers for 3 tanks and a medevac. Honestly, even getting 1 was more than he could have dreamed of. But again, Why dream when you could do? Or something equally profound that you probably see on like a TikTok or something. I don't know. Storm. Storm is done. What? I mean, yeah. Now he's going double upgrades. Not bothering with the Colossi. Clem's got the triple threat. So despite all of this, Clem's still in a very good position. He's got the worker count. He's severely delayed. He's going to get a scan on the Templar archives. There's clearly, well, if it wasn't obvious, Storm is done, that Hero's just chilling in the main base with a high Templar. Proxy. Not a proxy gate, but Spylons on either side, because Hero knows that the map is dark and full of Terrans. Or at least Clem will try to make it that way. The Marine may spot for it, thinking kind of a similar thing the other way around. But there's already a third command center done. So Hero, everything he's done so far has kept him in a position to potentially spiral this game towards him. But make no mistake, losing all that, getting his third base delayed, his blink delayed, was all good for Clem, despite the losses. And now he's got 130 to 120 supply. Hero with a cat. Yeah, sure. That's another base you can take. Clem's gonna scout it immediately because you can't trust Hero anyway. But the Templar. With Storm. He knows, but the siege tanks can zone him out. He can target fire. The Storm's on the SCVs. Gets 5 of them. Gonna try to chase forward. Wades through. And, yeah, well, I mean, he ran out. Was an art? Yeah, that did not. It was very dramatic. But the Storm's just not doing damage nearly quickly enough. Hero had almost no other units. It was like, yeah, 3 high Templar and an Archon, so we'll call it 5 high Templar. Charizard coming in. Clem scouted for a 4th, and then the Marine just now realizing, indeed, there is a 4th. He technically went by it, but he didn't really register it. Hero's now got 2 robotics bays on the way, and they're right next to each other, so he can't even pretend like he forgot he built one. You never know when you're gonna need not 1, but 2 robo bays. What the? We built one like 10 seconds after the other in exactly the same spot, which... Oh, I think he meant a robo. Okay. He canceled the one that was further along, of course. But now a second robo. He's going to be mighty. He's got the Rich Vespine here, trying to corner the army. The Storms make it difficult to corner this. Will he bother with a recall? It would be so sad if he did. Did anyone live? Like 3 Zealots? Today on top 10 saddest recalls of the week. All of them Hero. The Observer, knocked out. Clem clearly aware. The Templar. There's another Observer right there. The Storm! He may kill his own Observer with it.
Ready for dust off.
Another Storm gliding in. Just going for it. That Storm, about as effective as the Disruptors from last game. Right up until they got the point. But unfortunately, in this sort of scenario, Clem can pick and choose his engagements. He has the time, even though the medevacs are nearly out of energy. It's so hard for Hero to actually force the engagement, and Storms on the open field are easily avoided. And now a Liberator with the natural. I think Hero spotted it, and then realized he had bigger problems here. As this base, while it might have been pretty forward, here comes some Colossi. The Nexus, not going to commit to it. The Charglots, a single Colossus, a lot of optimism. Unfortunately, the army kind of trickled in when he needed a flood. And now the Terrans will just wash over him. The Stalkers depowers the pylon, cancels the warp-in, kills the probes. And despite the cheeky efforts and the meandering micro, I don't think Hero is going to find a way out of this one. Almost no economic damage to Clem. Well, continued units. Hero keeps going forward. Because if he ever goes back, there's not going to be anything to go back to. Colossus is knocked down. He's going to force him to fight to the bitter end. But Clem confidently striding forward. There's gonna be another storm, but the Liberator is annexing part of this base. 2 robos building. There's a dream here. And splits off, takes out the Liberator. These 2 Colossi will finish, but almost no other units will be there to protect them. Widowmine on top of the Archon. Marauders on top of the Colossi. And with all that said and all that done, the Clempire strikes back. Clem holds it together. The early timing to knock out the pylon and set the pace of the game. He was able to draw first blood. And despite Hero's antics, unable to really restabilize and get into that aggressive position that he very much prefers. So Clem ties it up 1-1. These 2. What a mess. It didn't even, well, honestly, nothing really went wrong for Hero. I mean, Clem just chose his build well, and Hero clearly... Now, why 3 Adepts? To which I am not confident Hero will give you an actual answer, and may not even remember building them. Because while 3 Adepts kind of helped break the first push, having a couple more Stalkers early I think would have done a better job. But that's Hero just relying on that sort of wild card strategy that doesn't always play out. The Reaper wall. So there's a little indicator here where you should place your pylon and your gateways to Reaper wall, which Hero is demonstrating something else. Just in case you want to... Well, you could also do it this way. Honestly, I think Reaper walls are a bit more opinionated, as there are several ways to go about it. But we'll see if he finds his way to one. A Mothership, by the way. 3-player map, which gives even more opportunity for shenanigans. Clem is not going for 2 gas. He's got a 1-Rax expand queued up. Just kind of a surprising move, actually, on a map such as this. Maybe relying on the same thing. Hero also going 1-gate expand. But he will be getting a Cyber Core before his Nexus, which opens up some more aggressive potential at the cost of a probe or 2. It's not a huge deal. It's not a small deal. It's just a deal. But that doesn't sound nearly as dramatic, does it? So we'll have a few more minutes to contemplate. Whatever you feel like contemplating. All right. Like and subscribe for Existential Dread. Bunker. Playing it real safe. The pro... Hey! Hey! Really? So, fun fact. Depending on if you're Terran or not. The Adept and the Oracle both do 22 damage per hit against light units. Which means they do 44 in 2 hits. Why does this matter? Both the Marine without combat shield and the SCV have 45 HP if they haven't taken any damage. Which means one sultry laser tongue from a ambitious probe puts them within 2-shot range. And it's much more likely you will have 1 or 2 Adepts than you'll have 3. And of course, there's a lot of overkill if you go for 3 in that case. So there's a real strat, and Heroes used it several times in the past, of bringing a probe with the early attack just to do that damage. Now, Adepts, as we saw, not as common, and it doesn't change the equation really on the Stalker damage. But especially if you're doing like a proxy or a 2-gate or something like that, that 1 extra love tap, that, nope. that probe attack, yes, that's what we went with, can make all the difference. And especially since the Adept takes like 3 years to wind up its fastball and actually attack. Sure, a Dark Shrine, why not? Shrine to Dark, Hero's greatest frenemy throughout his career. Come back to us. Maybe soon-ish? Hopefully sometime this year, but for those, I see the question occasionally. as it's been a while now, but as of last May, I think, started his obligatory military service, which usually runs, I believe, about a year and a half. Not that players aren't allowed to... From what... Several months ago, Dark was still in the top 10 on the ladder. It's not they're not allowed to play at all, especially... And he's got a kid and a wife at home. At least one of both. So it doesn't mean he's not... He can't play. They're just not allowed to play in tournaments because technically they're on call all of the time and a lot of other details, so... But... That means Dark may very well be waiting for his moment to once again prove that he is the rank 1 player in the world, as ranked by Dark. But until then, we'll just keep making shrines to him. As Hero has done, he's got a proxy pylon. Of course he does. The stop... Why are you like this? Speaking of children. Can anyone relate? I can't, but maybe appeal to the audience. So, Clem, did he actually see the shimmer? There was a banshee scouted. He went for a Tech Lab starport. Unfortunately for Clem... Oh, does he raise the depot? Does he notice? He's not looking. Oh, he sees it. But it's already inside the house. He has one scan, which is not enough. He has to cancel a banshee and get the Raven as soon as possible. He knocks out the one in the main. But Hero can count the scans. He doesn't seem to care. Oh, he comes back in. So 7 SCVs dead. And he does have a cloak banshee, which is actually going to be potentially dead. Oh, there is a robo. I guess he did spot the banshee with the Dark Templar. There is no blink, by the way. So, the DT lived! 7 kills. The banshee, like the flying DT, not as effective, taken out of the sky. The Raven is out. The DT will be unceremoniously slaughtered. But wait, there's more. The Raven chases, and he gets... All right, just barely. So now what? Well, Clem, 10 SCVs lost, and the first Banshee, so any real potential to do critical damage is mostly removed. And Hero making some Archons out of Dark Templar, which is not usually seen, but neither are the Dark Templar, if the Protoss are careful about it. All right, and I mean, the Protoss much more progressive now. As of 16 years ago, we allowed Dark Templar and High Templar both to make Archons, sometimes with each other. Okay, all right. Don't be weird, Grandpa. I choose to believe they got mind controlled too many years ago. Archon drop? Sure, why not? Well, why not is if he loses it, he could easily lose the game to a counterattack. But that is like 85% of the time Hero is playing, so... Gonna try for the main, the Archons. And surprise! He drops down some auto turrets, the Marines. Now, well, this is... Can he save them? And it's one, gets 2, slurps them out. So, was it worth it? I mean, yes, he didn't lose anything, technically. And now here comes the medevac. Takes a couple hits, the Archons. Too angry to die. And Hero just gonna send it. Clem is bottled up on 2 bases. He's got Stim Combat Shield and +1 on the way. But he still technically has a proxy pylon. He's got an odd amount of gates. 7 of them. Adding on another. Blink, but charge is already done, and that's an awkward position. The Raven just heads right out, because why is there an army here? This is a 4-base Protoss against a 2-base Terran. Why are you attacking? Unfortunately for Clem, it doesn't matter. He tucks back the siege tanks, which probably better. There's an Immortal in the mix here. The target fires, the Archons are doing terrible, terrible damage, though. He target fires down the tank, and Hero just kind of smashes his way in. Bashes the bunker, blasts the siege tanks, and bullies the bio. And then he just walks away. Or glides, or whatever it is, you know, all these things do. Stumbles. Stalks. Whole lot of different verbs, but they all end in a similar way and at a similar place. Hero is now up 15 supply. Clem's gonna have to pull SCVs again. And he can just juggle the Archons, the natural predator of SCVs. Easily takes out the Widow Mines. The Immortals behind can deal with the Marauders, which are the only things that really survive the assault of the Archons. And Hero is... yeah, that's it. There's no more units. He's just dead. Clem scans and sees a 4th base mining, which, I'm honestly surprised the game continued more than a few seconds past that. Let's look at the Clem action cam. 0 APM, which tells a story.
Research.
Yikes.
Mineral field depleted.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, that's... yeah. Not feeling so great about this one, I will say, but he's gonna let Hero take a bit of a victory lap. And he finds the G's. He got there. I was like, wow, I'm surprised Clem stayed in the game past scouting that 4th base. And technically he did. Practically, it's always good to take a little time to cool down. As Hero heats things up yet again with another round of YOLO toss gameplay. Dark Templar rush into Archon drop into just kind of throwing everything at him. Into winning the game. Kind of a key part. Hero's on match point. Clem's kryptonite again. Continually. Finding, like... I really think Clem suffers from being too good of a Protoss player. You see, these are the backhanded compliments you gotta slap Terran around with. Clem is too good at Protoss. Alright? Since we don't have the technology to make Clem play against himself in Protoss versus Terran, we don't know what that would look like. But when Clem plays Protoss, it's this... It's kind of... Max Packs... It's almost a clone of Max Packs, which makes sense, considering Clem and Max Packs have played against each other probably more than any 2 players. Well, besides maybe Clem and Hero at this point over the last couple of years. But I can say this as a random player. I'm 1/3 Protoss, 1/3 Terran, 1/3 Zerg, and 1/3 Assault myself. Get him out. That's enough. He's seen enough. That's enough harassment from this. Anyways. But I truly believe that Clem, unconsciously maybe, subconsciously, either whichever one makes more sense, is thinking about what he would do as Protoss. Like, as one of, if not the best, like, macro Protoss versus Terran player in the game. Sometimes, in my opinion, better than Max Packs. Again, he doesn't have to play Clem, so... he gets caught repeatedly, just completely flat-footed. Because no sane man, no sane player, not even any sane sort of shadow learning mechanism, would be attacking a 2-base Terran with a 4-base Protoss. Thankfully, the bounds of sanity do not seem to constrain Hero in any such way. In fact, he is untethered and his rage knows no bounds. Well, that might be true for Clem as well, but here we are. 10,000 feet. Tarantino's dream. As Clem comes in, gonna take a look around and see Hero has expanded. Alright, his SCV's a little bruised after the probe gave him a good C&2. He comes back around. He's not done! Oh, is he gonna get it? The SCV has to be pulled off the line. The Reaper's coming back around. Get over here. Have a taste. And, well, gets a little nuzzle on the Marine. Making it so weird. Which means the Adept might have a slightly easier time. And he delayed the command center ever so slightly, trying to hedge his bets against the potential Reaper, but Clem's just staying at home. He's not moving out anymore. He's not dealing with this. He's had enough. Once the Adept... oh, the cancel. Well, perfectly edging the shade there. Right until... oh, well, okay. He just walks... the bunker, it does nothing. Just walks right by. The Reaper on the other side, but the Stalker's going to be there in time to deal with it. Now, the Hero and the Protoss clearly perplexed by this wall-off situation. But, yeah. Confounded, even. His gabbers flasted in such an uncouth way. And the Adepts definitely overstayed their welcome, which was impossible not to do. He manages to get one of the Marines. He's gonna get a few more hits and actually survives for now. The Adept Shade's maximum distance. Did the probe force him to build it slightly out of position and Clem forgot? I think so. Wow. Well. Probe just kind of dies. Third base is on the way, and what are you going to do about it? That's the question for Clem. Blink is in production, but Hero expanding so quickly that you can't, like... Clem can only continue to stay the course. Taking a Nexus before 4 minutes. Oh! Crouching Adept. He's... The shrubs today. Did he just successfully evade? Wow. Hero. The solid snake Protoss. The Raven will be spotted. May even kill the Hellion. Goes for the high ground. Too busy dealing with the Hellion. Loses the Adept. There's also a Stalker here, which will double back. Auto turret gonna find some kills because Hero busy being fancy. Kills a Hellion. Two kills. Clem, the Reaper, Micro's away. Blink is done, right? Yeah. There's nowhere for the Reaper to go. Just let him sweat for a bit. Slaps down the turret, but Blink's over the top, and the Raven gets Edgar Allan Poe. So now Clem, I mean, he's got your standard fare. The stim, the combat shield, the +1. All coming together. Hero, definitely lighter on the units. He's going to have 5 gate... Robo Bay is completed, obviously, as a Colossus is in production. It's going to be just a straight-up bio push out of Clem against maybe 1 Colossus, no extended Thermolance, and quite a conspicuous pylon in the main. So far, our least hectic game, at least today. The Observer was in surveillance mode, which means it was spotted easily, but pulls it back, and it's not like this is going to be a subtle push here. Clem just has a whole bunch of bio. The boys are on the way. He's trying to take out the Observer before the boys are spotted, giving Hero that little bit less time to react. There's no sentry with the army, which means no Guardian Shield, and that could be a huge deal when it comes to this. And here we go. Charge isn't done. The Colossus is gone. And, is he just dead? Hero. Well, this game already looking more one-sided than a Mobius strip right now. Yeah, he's dead. Even if he got that second Colossus, losing the first one. What an absolute disaster. The Executioner Clem guillotining Hero here. And it's not showy at all. He just did a stim push. He pulled the boys, and I don't even think he expected there to be a Colossus. And if he knew there was one, he may not have done it. It was such a random timing. But this time around, well, Hero gives us more games. And that time, it's not pretend like Hero was just giving it away. Maybe by not being aggressive. That's where he ended up. But Clem just tearing through everything. And we're going to match point. Game number 5. Between the rank 1 Protoss and the rank 1 Terran/Protoss. Another roller coaster. Getting whiplash from many of these games. But we'll see. Can Hero clap back? Or can Clem clamp down? In game number 5. Dermalene. thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed however this goes and however it ends. I know, it seems like every other day or every other week, we got a game of the year, one of the best games of all time. You know what? And that's because truly, well, really only game 1, let's be honest, on this series. And this, I'm sure, game 5, but truly, I mean, every Clem versus Hero, but we can't just call it Clem versus Hero play for the 13th time this week. They're like, no, that's not true. I think it was 3 this week, so like the 20th time this year. So you remember Clem versus Hero number 14, right? Yeah, oh my god, what a series. But Clem versus Hero number 21. Now that's the... I'm looking forward to number 27. Yeah, that'll be the one, though. Honestly, it may be that many. It might be more. Considering both of them play in almost every weekly tournament. Hero, this is the Monday Night Weeklies, which are held, and I believe they start at about 5 a.m. Korean time. So Hero, you know, there's a non-zero chance he just doesn't sleep. Should make a lot of sense. He hasn't slept since Dark retired. And by retired, I mean obligatory military service. But Hero likes to say retired. Dark does not like that. We're really editorializing now, but maybe I should retire at this rate. I don't know what else I'd do. So, the anti-Reaper probe, but Clem has hard countered that, or the anti-Reaper pylon actually can single block the natural Reaper jump. I don't think you can do the same in the main. You might, but not risking it this time. Clem's countered it by not building a Reaper, but he is scouting with the SCV. So he's going to scout all this. He's looking for the second pylon as well, because really, you need one. I've heard even some rap battles about it, but that second pylon, occasionally in a less defensive position, definitely worth noting while you're there, but not too surprising to see it as an anti-Reaper, Reaper block, rather. So we'll see. So far, everybody, their buildings on their own side of the map. Their expansion's nearly completed. So looking like a more macro-oriented star, but that doesn't rule out the cheese. Oh yeah, charge. Nope, cancel charge. Go blink. Did he misclick? I don't know. They never know. His controller had the buttons unbound for a second. Another gate. Slaps it onto the low ground. Cyclone is the choice. I believe the first time we've seen one, which a mixed bag, not necessarily aggressive, not defensive, covers all your bases. Very good against Stargate, and without a Reaper, well, I don't know if he's hedging his bets against Stargate or if he just intends to get aggressive with the medevac. But either way, the Cyclone opens up another set of options that you don't usually have with the Widowmine drop or a rush to siege tanks. Now, it doesn't stack up as well against exactly what Hero's doing, which is Blink. A Blink Stalker, and he doesn't even have a robo, it's just 4-gate Blink. The Cyclone is not good against larger masses of units, as they easily overrun it. So this could quickly become a precarious position for Clem if either the Cyclone or the medevac gets caught. The Phoenix hallucinated, though Clem can't know that for sure. He's gonna suspect it. The Stalkers are moving out. Blink, finishing quite early. He's got a proxy pylon. So Hero's gonna be going forward. There is no third base on the way. If Hero was going for that super quick third, this would be great. This would be a strong timing that is quite dangerous to a minimal amount of Blink Stalkers. But there's not a minimal, a mostly maximal amount. Yeah, that's a word. That's a word. It is now. All right. The Stalkers are chasing the Marines. The Cyclone, blinks away. And Hero, he loses one Stalker, but he may lose all of these units as well. Blinks over the top. Cyclone does a little bit of extra damage. Easily snaps up. The Marines get one of the Stalkers. That's about it for now. There's a siege tank and some Marines out in the field, which is not exactly where they want to be. He blinks forward. The tank. Well, the tank out on the midfield doing a lot of damage to these stalkers. But Hero just warped in some more behind. And Clem is being outflanked before he even knows it. The reinforcements could be cut off. Another siege tank. Oh no! It's a disaster! He desperately has to. He blinks forward to the SCVs. He body blocked the SCVs from the repair. The door will be shut, but guess what? There's more stalkers on the way. He can get into the main, the revolving door, the siege tank. Now it can continue to pressure. Even more stalkers. There's the siege tank at the natural. He's pressuring the tech lab, but he can just go over the top. The Guardian Shield blocks on the tank. One shot, that's it. Slaps it down, and the Marines are not enough. He doesn't have enough energy for an auto turret. Clem starting to bleed out SCVs. He has a single Marauder. Auto turret is slapped down. He'll target it easily. There's just not that many units left over. And Hero. Blink and you'll miss it. Hero pulls out the full Blink Stalker aggression after lulling Clem into a false sense of security with multiple quick third bases. He comes back with the full-on attack, and Clem was not prepared. Hero again, his greatest nemesis, bamboozling Clem, and after some of the longest and shortest games in this matchup, the smiling assassin knows his way around. The Mad King of Protoss. I mean, it was a pretty generic blink timing, but the execution. Another tilting series for Clem, but Hero showing why he's the rank 1 Protoss. And I hope you enjoyed as much as I did, though you'd be hard-pressed to do so. Half as much. And thank you for watching. If you got the means of motivation, be also check out Patreon, YouTube membership, but right here, liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our mule tier patrons. Could use some more. Big Jiggy Devin Door, Kate, Mario Suit. I just still enjoy. And if you haven't yet checked out this video, Jimmy picked it out just for you. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Hope it made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.